So, folks, many of you might recall about... Has it really only been like a little over a month? That's nuts. Okay, sorry, I just looked at the timestamp. But about a month ago, a little over a month ago, DHS performed one of its first big operations titled Midway Blitz in Illinois.
The content month, not a typo.
It's okay, Nathan. I appreciate the $5 dono. Now, Operation Midway Blitz, you might not remember what that is associated with. You will, however, probably remember that the Trump administration wanted to make it like the big poster child for how they were going to go into these crime-ridden neighborhoods and round up all of the undocumented gangbangers and then send them off back to where they came from. You know, like they were going to be big, tough guys. And so one of the things they did was they sent the camera crew along with one of these raids. And it's where we got images of like DHS agents jumping out of Black Hawk helicopters, rappelling down buildings, like going in. It's nuts. But we'll show the piece of propaganda that they put out here. All right. And it's, brace yourselves. Wow, look at that. They went into an apartment complex at night. They got a gangbanger with no shirt on. Whoa, look at them go. Absolutely destroying the undocumented immigrants. Definitely the case. I also want to remind you, this was the raid where they pulled a bunch of children out of the apartment complex, naked, like it was truly disgusting. And they use this to recruit folks. Now, obviously, in this raid, they claim to have made 900 arrests across the city during this night raid event. And I just have to throw out that ProPublica has been doing some incredible reporting. And just the other day, they posted this piece of great investigative journalism. I'm gonna copy the link into the chat so you guys can take a look at it for yourselves. But it is insane because no one in that video has been charged with a crime. None of the people that were pulled out of their homes at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning were charged with a crime. Keep that in mind. On the night of the raid, heavily armed federal agents zip-tied Johnny Manuel Caicedo Ferreira's hands behind his back, marched him out of his Chicago apartment building, and put him up against a wall to question him. As a Black Hawk helicopter roared overhead, the slender 28-year-old immigrant from Venezuela answered softly, his eyes darting to a television crew invited to film the raid. Next to Caicedo, masked Border Patrol agents inspected another man's tattoos and asked him if he belonged to Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang that the Trump administration has designated a terrorist group. Until that moment, Caicedo's only interaction with law enforcement in his 2.5 years in the United States had been a traffic stop 2 weeks earlier for driving without a license or insurance According to the records we reviewed, Chicago police had run a background check on him and found no prior arrests, no warrants, and no evidence that he was in a gang. Caicedo said he had a pending asylum application, a steady job at a taco joint, and a girlfriend whose daughter attended elementary school across the street. None of that mattered. The U.S. government paraded him and his neighbors in front of the cameras and called their arrests a spectacular victory against terrorism. But later, after the cameras had gone, prosecutors didn't charge Caicedo with a crime. They didn't accuse him of being a terrorist. And after a brief hearing in immigration court, the government sent him back to the country he had fled 9 years earlier.
Dino dance.
Hammock 1, thank you for the sub. But they didn't charge him with anything. But not only did they not charge him with anything, they didn't charge any of those people with anything. Scrolling down a bit, a ProPublica investigation, however, has found little evidence to support the government's claims. ProPublica has discovered the names of 21 of the detained Venezuelan men and women and interviewed 12 of them. We also spoke with dozens of their relatives, friends, and neighbors, and we reviewed U.S. public records databases and court websites, examined court documents and social media accounts, obtained audio and video recordings made of that night, and attended immigration court hearings. Federal prosecutors have not filed criminal charges against anyone who was arrested. No criminal charges against any of the people arrested. None. They're calling these people terrorists, and they're saying, oh, they're all criminals. They're the bad ones, and they aren't doing anything illegal. No one in that building was charged with crimes. Insane. Nor have they revealed any evidence showing the two immigrants arrested in the building belonged to the Tren de Aragua gang, or even provided their names. ProPublica was nonetheless able to identify one of them, Ludwig Jean-Pierre Pera Perez, from a press release that did not connect him to the raid. Para denied that he is a member. I don't want anything to do with that, Para, 24, said during an interview from an Indiana jail, where at least 17 of the men were taken after the raid. I'm very worried. I don't know why they are saying that. I came here to find a better future for me and my family. Our review of criminal records indicates that Chicago police arrested Para for drug possession and driving without a license after a traffic stop last year, but the charges were dropped, and we found no other arrest records. You can't even claim that these people are criminals. They're doing minor violations or things that had so little evidence against them that local police dropped the charges. Kilgore Trout, when people are saying ICE is the new Gestapo, is the American Gestapo, it's backed up. It's a valid comparison. I don't know what else you call it when you have armed and body armored men in dropping from Black Hawk helicopters onto apartment complexes to blow the entire shit up. They were blowing doors off the hinges. They were ransacking people's apartments. They were just breaking everything in sight. Afterwards, people were comparing it to a war zone. And not any of them none of the people they arrested committed crimes. They broke into an apartment complex for no reason, rounded up everyone in there, held them without charges, and have just been deporting men. And because, keep in mind, what happens here is that they round all these people up, arrest them, saying, oh, we're going to charge you with crimes. Then they never charge them with crimes, right? They never charge them with crimes. And instead they're oh, no, well, I guess we're not going to charge you with crimes, but we are going to try and deport you because you're not sufficiently American. It's really gross. It's really fucking gross. Just insane. As the detained men have gone to immigration court, many have been asked to be sent back to Venezuela. ProPublica has observed 8 of their hearings, and not once has a government attorney mentioned any pending criminal charges or membership in Tren de Aragua. Instead, judges have simply ordered them deported, like Caicedo, or granted them voluntary departure, a sign that they are not seen as a serious threat and can apply to return to the United States. And the thing is, a lot of these people are taking those offers because they're being tortured in immigration detention. they are being tortured by their captors. They're trying to be they are getting strong armed into voluntarily leaving. It is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Am I wrong to call MAGA a more extreme form of fascism? No, they're just fascists. The fascism is extreme. They're not some secret super fascist. They're just fascists. Don't give them more credit for like somehow pioneering worse ideology. Their ideology is disgusting enough. They're given paperwork in English with no translator or ones that lie. Yeah. It's all fucking rigged. And anyway, I do highly encourage you guys to read the entire ProPublica article because it is fascinating. Exactly how just despotic and dystopian the current American government is when it comes to what it's doing with DHS and ICE. And like, it's worth noting that things are getting so bad that even the Catholic Church is getting involved.
Of this, we need to not just call out him for this. The ideas that lead to these outcomes, focusing on a single big bad, will just let this happen again down the last.
I mean, true, Nathan. Like, that's why I think it's worthwhile to expand the scope of what is happening beyond just Trump into MAGA. Because, like, let's be real, MAGA is the movement that has bought entirely into the ideas of Donald Trump. And the ideas of Donald Trump are fascist. Thank you for the $5 dono, by the way. But yeah, the Pope from Chicago is basically saying, hey guys, what you're doing in America is not very cool. Cut it out. Apparently, Pope Leo has been hurting the bishops to condemn Donald Trump's ICE raids, and that has actually come to pass. Nearly all U.S. Catholic bishops united in Baltimore to denounce the Trump administration's inhumane deportation campaign, a near unanimous, unprecedented moral stand against a sitting president. Like, I don't know. Like, can we get Pope Leo to excommunicate JD Vance? Is that too much to ask? Can Chicago Pope excommunicate the vice president? It's all I ask. Like, I have a bunch of qualms with the Catholic Church, but, you know, using the power of the church to condemn, like, Gestapo raids, I'm pretty okay with. And also, I'm pretty okay with if Pope Leo excommunicates JD Vance, because that would just be fucking hilarious. Well, Ophelia, the Pope can't excommunicate Matt Walsh because Matt Walsh is an evangelical. To Dan Bovino, the Pope's words are water off a duck's back. Yeah, but like, understand it does matter what the popes and the bishops say to Catholics. Might not matter to Dan Bovino, because let's be real, Dan Bovino probably only cares about two things: arresting immigrants and beating his wife. Probably.
Well, JD did unalive THR previous pope. That's probably worth an excommunication.
That's true. That is true, Nathan. JD Vance personally pulled a gun on the previous pope. No, I'm kidding. It didn't happen. Don't quote me on that. But I will say, you know, I wouldn't put it past this pope to uncover a secret commandment, the 11th commandment: thou shalt not fuck couches. You know, it's the secret one. They found a fragment of the second tablet. It's only one commandment was on there. God. Pope Francis being kinder to gay people actually turned my parents to be less homophobic. No joke. I believe it. And it's kind of why it's important that this pope is like seemingly very anti the Trump administration. Yeah, like this pope is dissolving Opus Dei. Like, as far as popes go, he's a pretty decent pope so far. Wait, does Matt Walsh claim to be Catholic? Oh, like, yeah, let's get him excommunicated too. I'm all right. I don't give a fuck. I don't believe in it. So yeah.
On the one hand, JD Vance killed the Pope. On the other hand, he did create a job for an American. I dunno.
You did dono. Knifeiest Duck, thank you for the $5 dono. And also, just as an FYI, that did bring us to 69 subs. So nice.
I am imagining a little corner piece at the bottom of the emerald tablet. TGAT just says don't screw the furniture.
Walsh is an anti-Vatican II Catholic. That makes a lot of sense, actually. All right. With that being said, just worth noting that if anyone ever tries to tell you that, like, oh, ICE is rounding up the bad ones, bring up this incident. Bring up this incident from Operation Midway Blitz, because guess what? They're just arresting innocent people who haven't done anything wrong, and they're rounding them up en masse and then not charging them with crimes, ruining their entire lives, holding them without criminal charges. It's really, really gross. Sectional healing, the best JD Vance video. Oh, God. Also, go check me out on the line. All right, there we go. Segment done. Also, like, comment, and subscribe. Do the things that help the show. You do the things. And with that, we're done with the segment. There we go.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being flame more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.